While some Australians have struggled to find fresh food and produce because of panic buying during the COVID-19 lockdown, aid agencies believe millions of children in developing nations have gone hungry as a result of the pandemic. World Vision is warning vulnerable children are at greater risk of exploitation, fearing millions could be plunged into extreme poverty.
When COVID-19 reached Bangladesh, its health and economic impacts were felt first and hardest by those already struggling to survive.
I was helpless and resorted to begging from house to house. Many people turned their back on me as they were in a similar situation.
For cleaner and widow Layla, it means she can no longer afford to feed her two young children.
My two sons now go without eating a proper meal each day.
New World Vision research revealing coronavirus has left 110 million children hungry, pushing 8 million into child labour or begging just to survive.
We begged for about 6 days and gave the money we got to our mum to buy food for us. Begging made us very sad.
On top of violence, climate events and displacement, food security is an increasing issue. The United Nations fears COVID-19 could force 66 million children into extreme poverty, joining 385 million others before the pandemic hit.
We often use this term unprecedented, particularly now and particularly in this context, but we do live in times with unprecedented displaced people.
In January, 5 Australian MPs visited Bangladesh, touring the world's largest refugee camp at Cox's Bazar.
I remember being with a Labor member, my good friend Anne Ali, and us grabbing each other's hand and crying. And I think that was probably a defining moment for both of us.
Weeks later, the world would change.
I'm thinking about the refugees in Cox's Bazar.
And these politicians believe Australia must continue to support those at the epicentre of a health and humanitarian crisis.
Well, just put yourself in that situation. Just imagine what it's like. I mean, it's a fight for survival day in, day out.
While it's feared the downturn will leave more and more Australian families struggling to put food on the table, aid agencies insist we mustn't forget about those in crisis long before the pandemic hit.
It just renews my resolve that we need a regional solution for the displacement of people in the Asia-Pacific region.
We're doing good work around the world, and it's really important that we acknowledge that, but wherever possible, let's reach out and help.
Brett Mason, SBS World News.